I would like to preface this video by saying that I don't know anything about anything, and if I get something wrong, please feel free to educate me in the comment section. I feel that it's crazy that I have to explain this, but I actually did have to explain it to someone the other day, so here we go. For those of you who don't know, way back in the day, there was this place, a digital space, called GeoCities. Flashy text art, pixelated graphics, neon colors, and broken HTML. What did this platform provide? Well, in the mid-1990s, the internet had no Facebook, Google, or even Wikipedia. If you wanted to use the web to promote something like your business or just share important local information to your friends and stuff, the only way to do that was to make a website. Okay, I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty of the rise and fall of GeoCities just because I find that kind of shit interesting. But if that's not your cup of tea, you can just go on and skip this section. I should also mention that I'm pretty much quoting TechSpot's article on Whatever Happened to GeoCities by Amir Shom. So if you prefer reading, there's that resource for you. GeoCities was founded in 1994 by David Bonnet and John Resner. As just another web hosting service, they called it Beverly Hills Internet. Users, which were called homesteaders, were asked to choose a neighborhood such as Capitol Hill, Paris, Hollywood, and they all had different categories. Neighborhoods as well as suburbs to existing neighborhoods were kept being added as the site kept growing. Every neighborhood had its own forum, live chat, and even list of all the homesteaders' birthdays. The default URL of each site included the name of the neighborhood, a number, and were referred to as a street address. By 1995, the site had more than 20 million homesteaders and more than 6 million page views per month. And that's when it changed its name to GeoCities. In 1997, GeoCities started showing pop-up ads on its free sites. While annoying some visitors, at least they didn't interfere with the existing signs of the websites. The same couldn't be said about the transparent watermark linking to the main site introduced the following year. Many homesteaders protested by making their pages completely black, and others threatened to leave.
The watermark is intrusive, distracting, it jumps irritatingly when the page scrolls, and since it's a link in itself, you can cover up the links of pages and obstruct parts of the page, more so at lower resolutions. Homesteaders feel like their pages are being defaced. Unlike the banner ad, the watermark is constantly in the corner of the window. I see the watermark as nothing more than an attack on the creative design of my sites, an annoyance, and a distraction. GeoCities has really blown it this time, and I recommend that everybody who has sites on GeoCities should walk away until GeoCities wakes up to themselves.
GeoCities doesn't do this, but you may see people put fake ads on their websites just for funsies or to try to emulate that old nostalgic feel. In 1999, GeoCities was the third most visited site on the web, and that's when it sold itself to Yahoo for $3 billion in stock and changed its name to Yahoo GeoCities. This next part just totally breaks my heart, but in 1999, Yahoo took a step away from the neighborhood-based nature of the sites by switching to URLs based on the user's registration name. By the end of the year 2000, the original neighborhood names were no longer used with the main site either. Those were steps in the opposite direction of where the internet was heading, with groups based on shared interests. In 2001, Yahoo introduced premium plans and imposed a data transfer limit of 4 megabytes per hour on free accounts, making it impossible to reach a larger audience for free, especially for graphically rich sites. This actually pisses me off because what's new about big corporations trying to exploit their users and suck the fun out of everything? MySpace, Facebook, and Flickr later joined the Web 2.0 revolution, each bringing more reasons not to create or just not have a personal website. In addition, WordPress launched in 2003, making the site creation and management tools of GeoCities look outdated. In 2009, Yahoo announced that it would shut down GeoCities in October of the same year, deleting the sites of everyone who hadn't migrated to the paid Yahoo web hosting service and stopped accepting new members. The only exception was GeoCities Japan. Following the announcement, the Internet Archive launched a project to save as many of GeoCities' 38 million pages as possible. The unrelated archive team was also established in response to Yahoo's actions and has since contributed to the preservation of content from several once popular sites. In October 2018, Yahoo Japan, which is no longer associated with Yahoo, announced that GeoCities Japan would finally be terminated in March 2019. If you want to browse old GeoCities sites like you could in the era before the Yahoo acquisition, based on neighborhoods and suburbs, you can visit Restorative Lands GeoCities Gallery. If you want to search for a more specific term, you should try geocities.ws, a spiritual successor to GeoCities that's completely unrelated to the original company, with a quick loading archive of GeoCities. The most thorough archive of old GeoCities can be found on OOCities. The site's search function includes results from geocities.ws, and you can also search for a site by username or by neighborhood and street address. Why you should have a personal website. Own your shit. In a world where everything is behind a subscription, from movies to music to your favorite shows, even software is necessary for your livelihood, Adobe. Although there are other ways of getting them, we pay for convenience at the cost of our freedom, of course. What do I mean by freedom? You have no choice. You have no voice. If Netflix decides to remove your favorite show from its catalog, it can. And when you try to find it somewhere else, chances are you're going to have to get yet another subscription.
Okay, so I realized that I need to elaborate a little bit more on what I meant. But basically, social media with like regular social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook and other stuff like that, TikTok, I don't know. You don't really own anything that you put on there. You don't have any say on what the next update is. Like, you don't have autonomy. I don't know if that's the right word. And with a personal website, you can put anything on you want there. You won't be censored. You can make it look however you want, and you have complete control over what goes on.
So, what should you even put on your website? Well, there are many things you can do. Like, you can literally do anything. It's your own little corner of the internet. There is no guideline. You can have your own blog, mini blog, talk about your day, what music you're listening to, what outfits you've worn recently, what projects you're working on. You can make what's called a shrine. Is basically like, well, if you think about a shrine, it's like you're kind of like obsessing over something. But a shrine in the digital space is pretty much just a webpage about someone, a video game, a band, your loved one, your pets. You can make a shrine of them and just pretty much ramble and talk about them and just show people how much you love this thing. I would recommend doing some web surfing yourself so you can get an idea of what you can do and just get inspired. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, bye. As you can see, it is nighttime and I decided to record this now. So the night mode is on and hopefully that's good enough. So the first thing you're going to want to do to actually start a website is get a web hosting platform. There is platforms that you can host your websites which are more commercial, like Squarespace, like those types of things. But you don't have a lot of creative freedom. Like those are they look like boring, for a lack of better word. They look boring. There are some that you can look up. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they're more, they give you, it's kind of like in the middle of hacking away at the code yourself and then having like a website builder. There's like a middle type one where you can, it's like copy and paste, select and drag, I don't know, type of website builder where you have a little bit more freedom. So, I mean, if you're interested in that, there's that. But this video is not for that. Okay, I'm trying to build this shit up from scratch because it's fun. GitHub. I'm not going to explain GitHub now, but just know that you can use GitHub. I have not done it personally, but the way I think it works is like it's free. You can host it. Like your website will exist in GitHub, but other people, it's not like a platform where you can see other people's websites. And people won't be able to find your website unless you give them the link. So if that's more your style, then there's that. Jeez. As you can see, they're loading. So this is what the browsing page, web surfing, would look like. There's different categories. You can filter by a tag, but they're not, honestly, the tags are not as useful. But yeah, you could endlessly just look at people's websites and it's just super duper cool. Like, look at this shit, what the fuck. And it's just the coolest thing ever. Okay, so that's kind of like an idea of geocities, right? Like you can do anything you want. People are so freaking cool. Okay, anyways, and there's another one which is on the rise called NecoWeb. You can use either, you can use both. It's really up to your own discretion. This one is a bit newer, started in 2022. Smaller community, but that could also mean it's like a tighter community sort of thing. Pretty cool. Like their home browsing thing looks really interesting. But Yeah. Okay, so here is the NeoCities page. What you would see if you went to the NeoCities page and you don't have an account. And you don't have to make a website to have a NeoCities account. You can just use it to scroll. So you don't have to feel pressured to like, I have to have a website, I have to have an idea already. Like, you just make the account, it's fine. Your username is what is gonna be your domain name. Domain is this little thing over here. You go to any website and it has a domain, right? YouTube.com is a domain for YouTube. So if you say like, I want my website to be called Supreme Bean. I can't spell bean? Being. So if you say that's your username, right? Then the supremebean.neocities.org, that's what's gonna show up here. Okay, and then you can put tags. People could find your stuff easily, I suppose, whatever. Password, email, easy stuff. You create your site. Okay, once you do that, you can follow people. They can follow you back. Like I said, it's not social media. You can follow websites that you like. It's kind of, I would consider it more like bookmarking. Personal websites are kind of like trying to break away from overstimulation that is social media and the comparison and everything. And while you can make friends, I would say it's a bit harder. There's no way to message people, like DM people in NeoCities. People in their websites can link their emails or there's a chat box. But yeah, I would try to disconnect those two ideas. NeoCities is very diverse in what types of people it has. So there's not too many rules besides like, don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick, bro. Like, but I would say it's sort of looked down upon, like trying to get followers, or so you can sell stuff, like if it's your own brand, like you can make your personal website as like personal branding, like for your art commissions or whatever, you can do that. But if you're trying to gain followers, first of all, it's just not the way to go. It just doesn't make sense. And second of all, it's just like, I don't know if that is even of any use. Whatever. Anyways. So you can follow people, they can follow you back, and when the people you follow update their websites, then you can see what they did. So it's site. This is kind of like your file explorer. Your website will probably it's gonna have like that basic, it's gonna have nothing. Right now I just have this placeholder because I prefer working on my website offline and then uploading it once I'm like, I feel more comfortable with what I have. But yeah, also, I have my own domain, which is something you can do. It's not necessary at all unless you like the aesthetic. You don't want the neocities.org or .com, I don't know, whatever, that at the end of your website. If you don't want that, you pay for it. It's like the one I got is $12 a year. Not too bad if you can afford it, but to use the custom domain, you have to then pay to be a supporter in NeoCities, which kind of sucks. Which is $5 a month. It gives you 50 gigabytes of storage. You can make multiple websites with your same email. It does have those added perks, but it does suck. That's just if you want one, or also if it's like for personal branding, that you might want to invest in that. The place where I got my domain at is Pork Bun. It's pretty good, I think so. Make sure to always look at the small print, okay? Because sometimes they have other places. Pork Bun seems pretty good right now, but other places like Namecheap or like GoDaddy or something like that, it's like 99 cents the first year, and then the last 2 years it's like $300, and it's like, damn, you gotta pay that now. That kind of sucks. Yeah, I don't know, they just add like a bunch of shit. But it's in the small print. You just gotta make sure to read it. The next thing you gotta do is choose a code editor. It could literally be as simple or as complex as you want. I use VS Codium, similar to VS Code, just doesn't have the telemetry for Windows. Although you can disable a telemetry in VS Code. Telemetry is just like Windows being able to see what you do, tracking your data and stuff like that. But this one just doesn't come with it pre-enabled, and it's open source, so it's like whatever. And it's not like we're doing anything too complicated, so like this is literally fine. Other ones that people use is like you can literally use Notepad++. It's like literally just the text editor that your computer has. You can do code in here. It's very simple. There's also one Brackets. I know it's discontinued. Like it's not in they're not developing it anymore, but I know people like it. And the reason you want to use one is because Geocities' code editor just freaking it sucks, bro. Like I'll tell you why right now. So if you want to edit a file and you make any changes to it, in order to see your changes, you have to, for one, save it and then view it, and it'll open it in a new tab or whatever. Which, when you're doing a lot of work and you have to go back and forth, it could really be a pain in your ass. It's like, and I mean, it also doesn't look very pretty. I'm a very I just really like visually pleasing things, so I'm kind of picky. I don't know. Anyways, you can apply themes. You can like customize the cursor settings. If you have like autocomplete, this one, and I close it, and it'll make the ending bracket, you know. So that's pretty useful. And say I have like stuff, right? Hello world. Well, oh yeah, for this one it's a little bit different than VS Code. Is a little bit easier with the preview. It's like in VS Code, but for some reason VS Code I couldn't really figure out, so I just have to just put them side by side. It's kind of like the same thing. And you make any changes, save it, you gotta reload this one, and then boom. This person, Petra Pixels, she's literally, hold up, let me, can't even see me. She's literally godsend. Like, I don't want to say anything weird, but I would do anything for her. Like, yeah, so she has a tutorial, advanced tutorials, get tutorial. Okay, so, like I said, I don't know much about GitHub, but I think it is crucial you link your GitHub to your code editor to your Geocities. I haven't done it in a while. I did it when I first started, so, but I think that's how it works. Okay, for one, it's important to have your site backed up locally. So as you saw, the file explorer, whatever you want to call it, on Geocities looks like this. All of your code is gonna go in here. You have files, and you have files within files and stuff like that. And this is all in Geocities, but it should also be in your computer's files. It's here and here. Like my Geocities, and boom, all my stuff is here. So this is what I mean by having it locally, not online, locally in your computer hard drive. This is so important because if anything ever happens to Geocities, which is likely to happen, nothing lasts forever on the internet. Well, digital footprint, but I mean sites go down, you know? Yeah, so if Geocities ever goes down, which it might, whatever, you can easily just host your website somewhere else. All of that progress, all of that work won't be gone. It won't be lost. GitHub, and I'll use Petra Pixel's sort of definition, website, technology, whatever, you can create Git repositories. Now repositories is low-key kind of confusing, but repositories is basically like files, branches, if you want to say, to what I understand. Like I said, I have a very, very vague understanding. It's like a copy of your files, I suppose. I don't know.
Okay, so I actually found a way better explanation on Stack Overflow, explaining the difference between a repository and a branch. So basically, a repository is like your whole project, so your directories and your files that clone on your computer. A branch is a version of your repository, so in other words, an independent line of development. So basically, your repository, so your whole project, can contain multiple branches, which means multiple versions of the repository. And the purpose of this is so you can work on multiple aspects of your project at the same time.
When you make any change to your website in your code editor in your computer, and you can, you don't have to upload every change, but like once you make a good amount of changes or a big change, you can push that's the word that they used, you can push it, upload it, transfer it, if you will, to GitHub, and GitHub will save that version of your code, different versions of your code. So if you ever mess up really badly where like you don't even know what the fuck happened, it's like a backup, and it's very, very, I think in the long run, very helpful and useful. Yeah, also because, if anything ever happens to your computer, it'll be like in the GitHub server, whatever, your account. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's really useful. She has a whole tutorial and images, and it's just amazing. I'm not gonna go over how to do it. I can if you guys want me to. But yeah, I would say that's a very important, crucial step. The last and final step, learn to code. Boom, boom, boom. The scariest step, to be honest. It's an ongoing journey. You will always continue to learn. I love learning. We love learning. So I feel like this could be a whole different video topic, but I'm just gonna give you some good resources and starting points. So there's 2 ways you can really go about this. It kind of splits off at the end, but I'll show you. Oh, fuck. HTML. Beautiful, beautiful thing. I love HTML. HTML is fun, it's easy, it's your best friend. Maybe not that much, but it's the easiest language to learn. Most of the words, like tags and shit, they make sense. Look at this here. Title. And then, it's the title of the page. Then you got heading 1. You got P for paragraph. It's really not that hard to see what's going on, really. Connect the dots, if you will. Learning HTML, easy peasy. I would recommend W3 Schools. That's what I used. I like it because in comparison to Code Academy or Code Camp, which, if you like the types of resources where it's like kind of like a game and you have to go through each level and you can't pass unless you get it right, like those types of things, where it's a bit more, how do I say it, structured, I suppose. You can use that, but I liked W3 Schools because you can really just look through all of these. If something doesn't interest you or just you're not really getting it, like you can just skip it and go to the next one. Because for me, I had a lot of fun learning HTML and learning how to code. It's just like so cool. I never thought I would get into it, so I was just like, wow. Like, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, I promise you, it's so easy. HTML, at least. So yeah, so you just go through each of them, and then like you can like try it yourself, mess with the code. Oh fuck, not that code. Mess with the code, and then like see how it works, And there's always a little quiz at the end, which I like me a quiz. I think it's nice, so I would recommend this. The next, very, very next step, you can start your website with just HTML, but it's gonna look really basic, like literally just text on a screen. So you want to learn CSS. CSS makes the world go round. What you're looking at right now, this box right here that is making it, this white background box, you have to use CSS. You have to use CSS to tell it how wide you want it. This background, I'm pretty sure is CSS. Like all of these, like this box, this box, this box, you have to use CSS to format your shit, And like these tables and stuff. So yeah, CSS just makes everything pretty. You can use CSS to change the font of stuff. Ooh, these sounds are done with JavaScript. Pretty cool. Anyways, I'm pretty sure this is CSS, but I feel like everything is literally CSS. Everything that's not text is CSS. These are sticking. Oh, you can move them. I'm pretty sure that's JavaScript. So CSS really can get really complicated. I'm personally still learning. I'm always learning. But I would recommend watching videos. Kevin Powell, he's like the father of CSS, where he explains things. I really like them. Like if you're really struggling on something, he might have a video on it. Check it out. You can also just continue with W3 schools. They teach a lot of shit. You can use a book. This is one I'm like reading. I barely started it. Someone recommended it, so I was like, oh, let me take a look. I haven't read a book. Like I've watched videos and done like online courses, but I haven't read a book yet, so I thought it was really interesting. I don't have a formed opinion on it yet, but I mean, it looks pretty cool. Also, Petropixel has a lot of tutorials, which I would recommend, like a lot of snippets if like you're struggling with something. She's really good at explaining things, I believe. So you can take a look at her stuff. And yeah, just lots of amazing resources out there for you. You will want to get yourself familiarized with CSS, just at least a little bit, like the basics at this point. From here on out, you can go two separate ways. Some people like to just go straight on forward, not do too much research, just get your hands on it and learn that way. And some people like to really study the material and learn that way and then apply what you learned to the real life thing, right? So that's why I would say there's two ways to go about this. If you really want to get a jump start, there are website builders, I would say website layout builders done by amazing people. There's two that I would recommend that are really popular for a reason. They're very, very good. So the first one, Sad Girl Online Website Making. It's very popular. You can really customize it. Yeah, okay, it's up here. Usually the settings are up here, and you can choose how much, like what you want pretty much. No footer, no nav bar, just a box. If you want two sidebars, you can spaces between these two boxes. You can do a lot, and pretty much put generate layout. It'll give you the code. Basically just copy this code into your text editor, whatever, and boom, you'll have what is shown on the screen. And then you can edit it, just the text. You don't even have to worry about how the boxes work or whatever if you're fine with this, but you can mess with it. You can mess with it and stuff. So that's the first one. And the second one that I want to show you is by Petropixel Layout Generator page. And there is quite a lot here. So you go to settings and then boom, you can change the colors. You can make it transparent, which is really cool. Change the text, the whole layout or whatever. But yeah, not everybody makes responsive websites. I know like responsiveness in a website just means it's accessible. So for people that are visually impaired, like they use screen readers and then it reads out what's going on the screen. Also just being able to use it on mobile, like make sure everything's not broken. That's responsiveness in a website. So she does make it responsive so you can see it on mobile, JavaScript, and then get code. And then boom, it's got everything separate. This is very good to have your HTML and CSS and everything separate, because if you ever want to change one thing, you only have to go into that specific CSS or JavaScript file for the page. You don't have to change it on every single page. It's really good work ethic. I don't know what the word is. So this is the first route. Get you a head start. There's no shame in it. Lots of people use it. It's an amazing resource right there for you. The other route you can take is to build it from scratch. It's ambitious. And if you want to make really, really unique websites, like for example, Ribozone, I love this website. So all of this, you can see it's not a traditional website with like the boxes, the header and all of that. If you want to make something like this, you're gonna have to build it from scratch. Yeah, you can like click on it and then, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Oh, here it is. Eat a toy. So this is an example of a person who has their own domain. So their domain is not eatatoys.geocities.com. It's just eatatoys. They pay for this domain yearly. But yeah, so you can see there's like stickers and you can click on them and like there'll be stuff. It's very cool. So if you want to do stuff like this, yeah, do it the hard way. I would say also following CSS is JavaScript, which is another step harder. It's different. It's not as intuitive. Like, the language is not as intuitive. JavaScript, what it is in a website is if you want to add like buttons that do things when you click it. Like if you click a button, there'll be a pop-up. Like that's JavaScript. If you want things to move or do like special actions, that's JavaScript. I'm pretty sure like sound effects and stuff. So it's like the fancy stuff. It's not necessary at all to have a website. And those are really like the 3 main pillars that you need in a website. So yeah. And there you got it. Congrats on wanting to build a website. This is just the beginning, and please tell all your friends to build websites until everybody has a personal website and we can all be cool together. Dead, my shit's dead. Okay, anyways, gotta go. Bye.
I could always try